Me, female 26, found out that a friend, male 30, thinks that we've been dating for months and I've been oblivious. How do I tell him I'm not interested? So, our parents are friends and they introduced us last September because we have a lot of common interests. I'm an introvert and don't have a lot of friends, but he seemed really nice if very quiet, and we get along pretty well. I'm awful at picking up on things in social situations, reading the room, facial expressions, between the lines, etc. So, I thought we were great friends. My mom just asked when we were making things official because she wanted to let everyone know we are dating, and it caught me off guard. She explained that everyone, including him, thought we were dating and just hadn't made it official. He's very sweet, but my mental health is not in a good place and I feel no romantic connection to him whatsoever, but I'd still like to be friends. I have a date with him later today and now I feel awful and I'm nervous where I wasn't before. How do I let him know I'm not interested and didn't mean to lead him on? Do I let him, gently, know I'm not interested?
Now to the comments. Don't automatically assume he agrees with your mom. And be honest with him, that's all.
This is exactly what I thought. I'd say try to get in the same page and have a communication session. If it does turn out he agrees with your mom, make sure he knows it's been a misunderstanding. You're bad at noticing cues that could lessen a blow, and you can talk about how to be friends moving forward.
You'll never guess what, my mom thinks we're dating. Isn't that bizarre? I told her we're definitely friends, not romantic. Has your mom said anything? I think people of their generation can be weird about men and women being friends. Let him have the plausible deniability. You do lose out on the chance to know if he ever thought it was anything else, but I think that's an acceptable loss in the circumstances.
OP replied. Thank you. I struggle with being too blunt, so this is a great way to start softly.
Do you kiss, hold hands, talk about how many children you want, send each other kissy face emojis, gaze into each other's eye over a romantic dinner? How often do you go out on real dates? If not, why would a grown man think you are dating?
I work with a girl that thought she was going on dates when her realtor would take her house shopping.
This is bizarre. Do you meet up regularly? If so, does he try to kiss you or touch you in a couples type way?
OP replied. Not really. We give one-armed hugs, but he's shy and I'm awkward.
Are you sure that he thinks that, or that it's just your mom thinking that? Why does she think that she has a right to tell everyone your news? Wouldn't you tell the relevant people if there is something to share? This smells a lot like the mothers sitting together and dreaming and now putting on pressure, not that he thinks the same. Just bring up that it's funny how your mom tries to force romance where there is none. You'll find out yourself then what he thinks about this. It's going to be painful every time if he has expectations that aren't coming true, but you're not responsible for what's in his head. There is no real gentle way to tell him. So just be honest.
OP replied. I hadn't thought of it like that because my mom has always been like that. I love her to death, but I've never felt attraction to anybody and she seems to think I'm broken. I'm starting to agree with her and this situation isn't helping.
I operate by a simple rule. If we haven't had a conversation out loud that used the words dating/exclusive, don't ducking assume we are. Regardless of what your guy says, remember it'd be on him for assuming something of you without a discussion.
OP replied. That's a very good point. I think the lack of distinction is what's making me so nervous.
Have you kissed? It could just be your mom thinking this. She explained that everyone, including him, thought we were dating and just hadn't made it official. How incredibly rude and presumptuous of everyone. This isn't your failing. You've done nothing wrong. And unless your friend is very neurodivergent, it's unlikely he thinks you're dating unless he has tried physical affection, put his arms around you, hold hands, tried to kiss you. Described you guys having out as dates. Tried to take you to stereotypical date places, dinners at nice restaurants, walks in the park, or make chivalrous gestures, buy you flowers, open doors for you. If he just assumed you guys are dating because you're two people of the opposite sex that regularly hang out, that is a mistake. But quite frankly, My guess is that this is your mother's meddling, spreading misinformation to others, trying to strong-arm you into a relationship, than anything else. I am unclear here. So, he hasn't told you this, or attempted a move on you in months? And you are basing this off what your mom said? I think you should simply ask him what's going on first, then just politely tell him what's up. I mean, I'm a sensitive dude to the point of being a wimp, and I'd always much rather just have someone tell me something directly. I'm baffled at why he would think you're dating if you haven't even talked about it.
To be honest, I don't think he does.
Approach him as a friend who is helping you clear up a messed up situation with your mom. Hey name, for some reason mom has decided that we're dating and I need your help shutting this down before things get more complicated. I'm in no place mentally or emotionally to date anyone, and while I like you a lot, it is in a friendship way, not a romantic way. So, if you could drop a hint to your mom that we're buddies but not boyfriend and girlfriend, I would appreciate it. Right now, I feel like a bad TV show for our moms. How the hell does a grown 30-year-old man just assume he's dating someone when he's never even discussed it before with that person? Does he have a mental deficiency?
Yes, I had to scroll back up and check the ages because this sounds like a high school situation. Something is odd. Either with him, or the situation, for example the mom's involvement.
After reading your update, please be cautious talking to your therapist about asexuality if you're not sure they're an ally. There are still a lot of people in the field who think asexuality is a mental illness or is simply a symptom of depression. I've seen way too many people in the community get hurt by their therapists who said really vile things to them when they tried to come out or get guidance when trying to figure out their sexuality.
Genuine question: how do you tell the difference between asexuality, the sexuality, and lack of sex drive, the symptom?
Just be honest and tell him you don't feel the same way. You said you've never kissed? Then your mom is either making this up, trying to get you to admit you're dating, or he's unwell. Since September? That's 6 months of dating without even a kiss. He absolutely knows you two aren't dating. He may have chosen to tell people you were, but he knows you aren't. Saw the update, did he think the two of you were dating? I'm glad the conversation went well.
Yes, please elaborate on how it went down. Was it meddling moms, or did he actually believe you were dating?
It may be difficult to get a good autism assessment as women get pretty good at masking autism as they age, so be aware when you go for testing.
Unlike men, who are terrible at masking as they age.
Lol, he must have poor social skills as well if he just assumed you were together. Lol. I don't want to be mean because it's possible he's a kind person who just doesn't understand, but at the same time it's kind of crazy to make that assumption. Also embarrassing. He's 30, so it sounds like he might have some issues if that's how he manages his romantic life. He can't even talk to you about it and then labeled it that way without even asking you? If he gets angry, mean, abusive when you turn him down, just block him entirely. It's not your responsibility to deal with a 30-year-old man's issues. If he's being a nice guy to you as your friend but secretly wants things from you, he's a straight-up tool, Mr. Nice Guy, who needs to get his head in the game. I repeat. The second he gets angry, retreat. Far away. His feelings are not your responsibility. Be prepared to get out of there and do not let him guilt you or feel bad about your decision and feelings. I want to clarify that I see the time we spent together purely on a platonic level. I am concerned you might see this in a romantic or sexual way, and I wanted to be upfront and let you know I do not share this. I say this because I wouldn't want to lead you on, and I also don't want to feel like you're only spending time with me because you want something more. I understand if you don't wish to spend time together beyond this, or if you want some distance if feelings were becoming involved on your end. Thoughts? Just try your best to explain and talk to him. I believe I have autism as well, but haven't thought much about getting tested. I wonder how much that costs and what benefit there is to formal diagnosis. Don't feel bad because I'm a lot like that. At least he was good about it. I wonder if he just went along with what they thought and was thinking he was just friends. Oh geez. This is the worst feeling and I'm sorry you have to do this, but you have to stop this before it goes any further. Tell him you are sorry for the misunderstanding and that you do not feel a romantic connection. Do not say for now or anything unclear. Be strong and tell him. I just want to say, you might have autism. It's super underdiagnosed in women. You tell him exactly what you just told us here. That's all there is to it. Smile. There are 2 routes here. Route A, just tell him what your mom said, that she said he was under the impression you two were forming a romantic connection, and ask him if that's actually true. Then, based on what he says, either let him know that while you really value your friendship with him, you're not interested in romance. Or have a laugh about how your collective parents are trying to play matchmaker. Route B, play it off. Haha, my mom said she thought we were dating the other day. I told her we were just good friends. It's cute that she wanted to play matchmaker though. It gives him an out to not have to admit he had feelings or thought something else was happening, and it also establishes how you feel about it pretty unequivocally. Good luck. You can do this. Good luck working out yourself. Why would he think you've been dating for months if you've never kissed or said/done anything romantic? That doesn't even make sense. Just a mini rant about men being clueless in this department. In 2022, men have an obligation to make it safe for women to be really, really direct with them. It's no mystery how to do this. Just be a gentleman, be couth, and pay attention. Be appropriate about whom you give what kind of attention, be conscientious about cues, body language, nonverbal communication. Treat them with respect. Just because a woman may deliberately be dressed appealing and look sexy gives a man no right to stare, or approach her to flirt. It isn't an invitation. Staring is aggressive and can make anyone uncomfortable. I don't think it's any more complicated than that. It is ironic, but men who make it safe for women to be direct with them won't find themselves rejected as often simply because they're sensitive to cues and less likely to make unqualified overtures in the first place. It doesn't have to get weird.
Yup, it's always on the man. Everything we do is wrong. I have always been a strong proponent of the idea that regardless what a woman is wearing, it doesn't give anyone the right to lay hands on her, but I'm sorry, if she's dressed to garner looks, she's going to be looked at.
Well, for me, if you haven't been on an official date, so to speak, and haven't kissed or both let on you into each other, then you are not dating. My GF and I kind of just moved from friends to relationship as we hung out a lot friend-wise, and I walked her home per usual one time as we live in the same town, and we just both eye-ducked each other as we realized we were hot for each other, so we went to her place and well, the rest's history. I have been led on like this before. I went along with the idea that we were maybe going to be casual FWB, but he seemed to have issues initiating anything sexual, which is all I wanted. He couldn't do anything outside the confines of a relationship, which is something I didn't want. I decided to try and stay friends with him without any expectations of sex and just keep it platonic. He got more and more unpleasant to be around and started becoming rather abusive. I ended up leaving. I guess at some point he must have thought we dated or were BF/GF at some point, and it's like, dude. No. Nothing we ever did constitutes a date or us being dating. I did not mind being friends because we had great memories, but we were never on the same page. And yes, we are fully grown-ass adults. I feel like I was clear to him without being hurtful or cutting, but he didn't get it. Big mistake in continuing to hang out with him, but a good idea to get checked out. How does he think you're dating if you've never kissed? I might be asexual and autistic. I had that vibe too, from how you explained how you experienced this. Honestly, you can be dense as lead and it shouldn't matter. You are not dating unless officially stating so to each other. Have you been going on dates? First of all, you did not lead him on. He assumed not saying no meant yes. Just be honest with him and understand if he doesn't want to be friends with you anymore. I've lost many friends that way, and it made me feel like garbage and like they were only friends with me to wait and see if I'd date them. But always, even if it hurts, hold your feelings as important. You could lose him. That's his loss for assuming you'd date him just because you hang out. If you hadn't expressed any romantic interest, he is the one that is wrong. You stating your feelings here? They are completely valid. You haven't felt what he wants you to. So, he is the one in the wrong. Never ever feel bad for telling someone how you feel just because your feelings being voiced hurts their feelings. If you have to keep your feelings unsaid just to keep theirs from being hurt, it's toxic and suffocating. How did he think you have been dating if you haven't been intimate or kissing, etc.? This is hilarious, but I'm glad it worked out well. Just if you were setting a time and a day to hang out, then y'all were dating. He didn't think you were dating, rather you thought that you weren't. Dates don't have to be romantic. Friend dates are a type of dates.
It didn't work out well.
I'd queer you think you were asexual from this? Maybe something you didn't mention, but I just want to make sure correct info is being spread about asexuality. How do adults get themselves into these situations? Like, how can you figure out how to use a computer and get on the internet and not know how to use words? Setting up a time and place to meet between two people of the opposite gender is easily assumed as dating. Especially for months at a time. Unless this guy is a virgin and clueless. I'd assume he'd at least give you signal or make a move indicating he's interested in being more than just friends. It's hard to believe that clarification of what your relationship is with him has never been discussed after seeing him multiple occasions since September. He actually believes that you two are dating. Part of me wants to tell you to run for the hills and never talk to him again. Another part of me says he's probably a really good guy and he cares more about you than he does about his own sexual gratifications, and that you should give this guy a chance. This is pretty weird, not going to lie. He probably doesn't want to be just friends if he previously had intentions of dating you. You two should be honest with each other and just break it off. Sounds like you're in different places with different desires.
100% agreed. He's keeping his foot in the door waiting for an opportunity.
Your parents introduced you and you've been going on dates. So, you are dating. You aren't official, but you are dating. That's what dating is unless you have explicitly had the friends conversation. I would be honest about the situation. Hey, my mom thinks we are dating and asked when we will be official, but I didn't realize that's what this is. I'm sorry if I led you on. Communication about these things is something I need to work on. If you want to stop being friends, you can just say so and there will be no hard feelings. How do you feel about the situation? Social situations have endless rules and you are still learning them, so don't make this person feel bad, and be honest, they deserve that much. If he doesn't agree with your mom about the situation, this is his opportunity to say so and you can have a good laugh about it together.
That's what dating is unless you have explicitly had the friends conversation. No. That's not how that works. Hanging out with a person is not automatically dating unless you say otherwise. It's hanging out unless you say otherwise. If you go out with people assuming you are dating them because they don't specify it's just as friends, you're going to find yourself in a lot of very uncomfortable situations.
Chances of being diagnosed with autism at 26 is pretty slim. Like almost zero. I'm not sure where you got this one from.
What makes you think that? It's not like they automatically test for it. Mild cases can fly under the radar.
I'm glad to see your edit, but just wanted to say that in a world where your mom had this impression simply because of this guy, and not because she was meddling or whatever, you'd have been well within your rights to call him up and tell him explicitly to stop whatever he was doing to give people the wrong impression. And then also tell your mom and anyone else necessary that there was no dating and never had been. Some people use people like you, and your unwillingness to make a scene, or fear of saying the wrong thing or being too cruel or even the autism/lack or reading social cues, to force them into situations. Like they'll ask you out in public, or call you their partner publicly so that if you don't go with it, it looks like you're the bad guy. It's manipulative and wrong. Maybe he wasn't doing this, but do just bear in mind that this is a thing. Is your friend's surname Wallowitz? Just going to be straight with you, if he does like you, and you hit him with the friend zone request, your friendship is either over, or he will act different with you. If you want to remain friends only, just tell him. Don't blame yourself, and don't feel bad. If you didn't intentionally lead him on, then he just got the feels. Rejection sucks, and it's coming his way. Do him a favor, and don't drag it out. Just tell him you're not all there mentally. That's not an insult or diss, it happens sometimes, and that you aren't looking for a relationship right now. I think that's more important, because when you do feel like dating, he will want to be the first one to take a shot at you, and you have to be okay with that because it means he really does care and like you for you. The best thing for him, and you are to just get the bad news over with. Looks like you are looking into testing for autism, which is great. As for asexuality, maybe you are, but know that depression and anxiety can dampen sex drive and romantic interest. As you get a handle on your mental health, a diagnosis that may change for you. Pour him. Not to blame you, but pour him.
OP replied. Update. We talked. I apologized for the miscommunication and he let me know that he wanted to be friends still. And we are good. I might be asexual and autistic. So I'm going to get tested for autism and talk to my therapist about the asexuality. Thank you all for your kind words and advice.